make way before the King of Kings. The God who comes to stop the Lord Almighty. Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? 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 Who can stop the Lord? And our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him. All right, awesome. And now I believe we've actually got some announcements going on, so go ahead, take a seat.
All right, good morning. Continuing Mega May, as soon as the wheel comes up, we can go through some of the prizes for Mega May. But yeah, it's going to be another impossible shot. Prizes, you guys have seen it the past couple of weeks. You can win like 200 Chipotle, Menchie's, stuff like that. And you just spin the wheel and you get a chance to win some awesome prizes like that. And today's impossible shot is, yeah, it's really, really serious because it's 1939 yep, 1939, and it's up to you guys whether or not millions of people are gonna suffer throughout World War II. So you have a chance to eliminate this guy by sniping him around. You found this spot hiding out, and you have a clear shot at Hitler. So whether or not you have good aim, you can take out Hitler and save millions of lives and the whole world chaos that World War II was. So yeah, here's the wheel.
I won.
Pizza for your small group. One whole pizza delivered anywhere. Or mystery prize. Nothing other than not Panera gift card. Spin again. 200 cash. So yeah, you just have to knock this evil guy down. Yep, standing behind the pillar. I've tried it. It's doable this time. So yeah, we're just taking volunteers. There's gonna be multiple winners too. So all right, go for it. Yeah.
Do you want it in the center or these guys?
It's more than like.
All right, you want it? What? Yeah, you can.
It's already.
Figure it out.
Test his loyalty to the state, right?
Oh, it's just the Charlie record.
Yeah.
He's already calling over.
What's in the mystery box?
First announcement. There's no small group tomorrow night. Finals can leave. All right. No small group tomorrow night. Second off on June 19th. Sign-ups in the back are for the whitewater rafting trip. It's $130. That does not include any food or lunch. That's the same thing. So just bring money for that as well. Peyton.
Yeah. Teams. So this is an opportunity for you guys to volunteer for The Verge. And are we signing up today?
The sign up link will go live on Instagram and Facebook and the website this week.
Okay, so be looking for that on Instagram. So we have these different teams that you can volunteer for. We have merch, so you get to be a part of making t-shirts, hats.
Kind of goes hand in hand with the graphic design.
Yeah. Events. So events is like the different activities we do here, like the whitewater rafting. That's a fun event we're doing. Welcome committee, just welcoming everyone into The Verge. Setting up like the donut cards on Sundays. Social media for Instagram and worship. What we're doing up here, singing songs, and then announcements. That's what we're doing. And
killing it right now. Nice. Doing great.
And tech team. Basically, you would be in the back working on the computer and just getting up these slides.
Because Brandon can't pull up a wheel.
Yeah.
He needs help. So.
And the sermon prep team is basically where you can meet with Brandon and talk about different ideas on what his sermons are going to be and which topics you want him to preach on. So be thinking about what teams you want to sign up for. You'll get t-shirts so you can feel more like a part of a team. And that's it. Okay.
We're going to dive back into worship.
All right, we got 2 more songs for you, so go ahead, stand up and sing along with us. why I sing your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. I was your fault, still your love fought for me. And you have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Dear God, thank you so much for bringing us all here this morning. Thank you that you're moving and you're present, you're with us. Pray that you would speak through the message to us. We love you, praise you, in Jesus' name, pray, amen.
All right. Hey guys, welcome. Good to see you this morning. Hey there. So it did. It's feeling it this morning. So today we're going to focus on faith, and the book of Hebrews in the Bible is kind of all about faith. That's the whole theme of the book. And today I want to focus in just on 2 verses in the book of Hebrews. We're going to spend our whole morning in these 2 verses. It's Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, because there's just so much packed into those couple verses that we're just going to sit there. And we're going to take the verse in 4 sections and talk about it. But before we do, I just want to talk about the idea of faith in general. A lot of people will refer to a good description, because that's what we are. We're people who have placed our faith, our trust in Jesus, because he's worthy of our trust. He's worthy of our faith. Who you put your faith in, where you put your faith, is going to determine the course of your life. If you put your faith in yourself, then you're going to buy into the lies that say, trust your heart, just go trust your own self, whatever your heart tells you, that's what you should do. And those are popular sentiments. Most TV shows and movies and media will tell you things like that. But the Bible tells us exactly the opposite. It says your heart is infinitely wicked and deceitful. And that rather than trusting your own heart, which is going to lead you to whatever is most shiny and attractive at that moment, that you should instead place your faith in Jesus. I like to think about faith kind of like skydiving. Like when you go skydiving for the first time, if you ever go skydiving, anyone planning on going skydiving someday? Like, that sounds like something you want to do. All right. So my wife and I, we went skydiving. We've been 3 times, but we really enjoy it. It's super fun. But when you go skydiving, especially when you're not a certified skydiver, you're not doing it yourself, you're putting 100% of your faith in the person that you're strapped to, right? They are the ones with the ripcord. They're the ones that packed the parachute. It's all on them. If they didn't do something right, you're gonna die. Or if you go there and your person that you're gonna be strapped to looks super depressed and they're like crying, like it's just not worth it anymore, you maybe rethink whether or not, never mind, I changed my mind. Like, I don't want to put my faith in you, because you might just be like, I'm not pulling the ripcord. No, she broke up with me. I'm done with life. And now you're strapped to that person and you're going down, which is kind of a perfect picture of just marriage also. But no joke though, you're strapped to this other person. If they just bail on life, like, you're going down with them, and that sucks. So choose the right person. But that's a whole different topic. But when we placed our faith in these skydiving instructors 3 times, it was faith well placed. They packed the chute exactly right. They knew exactly when to pull it. They landed perfectly. Like, we never did a face plant or like overshot the landing and went into a building. Like, they knew what they were doing. And because we placed our faith in them and followed their instructions, everything went perfectly. The same is true in life. Jesus says, hey, put your faith in me and follow my instructions, and things will go the way they're supposed to. And when we do, we find that that's exactly true. And when we don't, and we go, yeah, but I want to do my own thing, then we find that things often fall apart, and our faith falls apart in the process. So these few verses are basically a recipe to keeping your faith intact and walking faithfully with Jesus. It says this, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and seated at the right hand of the throne of God. So we're going to break these passages into 4 sections, and we're going to just look at these 4 sections and talk about how they affect our faith and how to walk faithfully with Jesus because of them. The first section is just this first part of the first verse. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. Hebrews 12 directly follows Hebrews 11. I know. Just take a moment to let that process. It's amazing. The Bible's an amazing book. So in Hebrews 11, the whole chapter of Hebrews 11 is talking about all of the incredible people in the Bible up to that point, all of the faithful witnesses to God and God's power and the people of faith. But it's also, so it's obviously referring back to that, but also it's talking about the cloud of witnesses that we have around us, the group of people that we all have surrounding us that should be pointing us to Jesus, should be reminding us of who we are following. But not everybody does that. There will be some people in your life that instead of saying, hey, look towards Jesus, look how amazing he is, let's follow Jesus together, are instead saying, come on, really? Jesus? Let's do this other thing instead. Let's ignore that and it's Jesus stuff and do this. I saw a video a while back of these 2 women who were at an NBA game, had absolutely amazing seats. They are literally the row behind the actual line of players. And those seats, if you don't know, are ridiculously expensive. And instead of watching the game, they're looking at their phones the whole time. They're just like, oh, look at this. There's an NBA basketball game happening like 10 feet from them, and they're looking at their phones. And they thought, whatever, it doesn't matter, we'll just look at our phones, until this happened.
Touch by Henderson.
I was saying,
glasses. Yeah. So minimal effort to stop that. Please, don't destroy my life with that ball. So here's the thing, in life, Jesus is right there in front of you, wanting to lead you, wanting to get your attention, wanting to bring you towards him. But there's a lot of people around you going, no. Look at this thing instead. Sometimes it's even your own self and your own phone in your own pocket. You're like, I should spend time with Jesus, but TikTok. Or whatever it is for you that just like sucks you in, and then every once in a while, ball of life just smacks you right in the face. But here's the thing, and this is the question that I want to ask and want you to ask of yourselves. Are your friends witnesses or distractors? Are your friends part of that great cloud of witnesses that are focusing you on Jesus, that are like, hey, don't do that. Do this. Look at what Jesus is doing. Look at where Jesus is calling us to be. Or are they the ones going, hey, check this out. Hey, come on. Yeah. There's Jesus, wanting to do something. But look over here. Check out this party. Check out this thing. Check out this. And conversely, flip that around. Who are you to your friends? If your friends were to ask this same question and insert your name, would they say that you are one of the great cloud of witnesses that's pointing them to Jesus? Or would they say you're one of the people that's distracting them from Jesus? It's pulling them in a different direction. And if the answer for you is you're a distractor, take this as the opportunity to say, man, I want to be a witness. I want to be one of the people that points my friends, my family, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my whoever, the people that I love, I want to point them to Jesus. I want to be a witness, not a distractor. Let's jump back into the passage. It says, let us also lay aside every weight and sin that clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Now, you may or may not know, but the New Testament was written within the realm of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire had conquered most of that entire region of the world at that point. And one of the things that the Roman Empire would do when they would conquer a region is they would build this amazing, incredible amphitheater type thing. And it would have a racetrack in it, and it would have, huge theater seating all around it. And for the first time, these people would have the ability to witness competitions and gladiator fights and all these things that the Roman Empire was known for. And so there's a lot of, in the New Testament, these references to competition and things like that. And this is one of them. When it says, let us run with endurance the race set before us, what they would have in mind, the people hearing it and the person who wrote it, is these races that would happen in these big amphitheaters where people would come and they would line up and they would race, just like if you went to a track and field competition today, same exact sort of feel, except that if you go to a competition today, the people that are racing are going to have on running shoes, running apparel. They're going to be, there's companies, lots and lots of companies, that make stuff specifically to help you run races well. Back then, everybody wore long flowing robes. They would wear an undergarment robe. They would wear a robe on top of that. Then they would throw like a coat type robe over that robe. What do you think would happen if they went out to the racetrack and started running in their robes? Yeah, they would trip, they would fall. The race would take a long time. It would actually be probably really enjoyable to watch, but it wouldn't make them very fast. Their garments would not help them at all. There is an interesting analogy in the Old Testament where it talks about girding up your loins in a few different passages, and what that would mean is you would reach under your robe, grab the back part of your robe, and pull it up and hold it right here, because that would kind of give you the ability to run without getting tripped up. But that was Old Testament. In New Testament times, with the Roman Empire, what they would do is the runners would walk out onto the track. They'd be like, yeah, everybody look at me, I'm amazing, I'm gonna win. And then once they were out there and everyone had cheered for them and stuff, they would take off all of their robes, everything that would weigh them down, trip them up, keep them from competing, and they would run either fully nude or very close to nude, depending on their preference. Yeah. Runners today, they're weak. They're weak. Step it up. So the Roman way was to take off everything that could possibly slow you down. And so when this is talking about, like, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which clings so closely and run with endurance the race set before us, this is the picture that they have in their head. Like, these things that are around us that are clinging so closely, these robes, they are not going to help us win the race. They're not going to help us compete in this race that God has set before us, called following Jesus for our entire lives. And so we have to take them off. I saw a picture and then read the video, or read the article that goes with the picture a while back of an owl. And the picture was an owl that was hanging from a branch by some fishing line, literally just like hanging there. I was like, what is this? So I read the article, and a fisherman had been fishing and got his line caught on something, cut his line, let all the line that was out there just, bunch up under the water, left it. And then a fish, which saw the bait that he was using, went and ate the bait. The fish died, washed up on shore. A rat came and ate the fish that was caught in all the line. While it was eating the fish, the line got caught all around the rat. Then an owl saw the rat, swooped down, ate the rat. While it was flying away with the rat, the fishing line got caught around the owl's wing, and then the owl went to land and got caught. All the fishing line wrapped around a branch, and then the owl's hanging from the branch. I actually have the photo. It's right there. He's just chilling. He's like, yep, this is my life now. I just hang here from this branch. It is a true story, yeah. And the reason they know all of that is because they got the rat pieces from the inside of the owl. The rat had fish inside of it, and so then exactly. So they're like, oh wow, this is what happened, and then they wrote an article, and then I read the article, and then I told you the article, and now you know. So in our lives, this exact same thing can happen, where the fish is just swimming around. The fish is like, look at that, free food just sitting there at the bottom of the lake. How lucky am I? Gulped it up, got wrapped up, couldn't unwrap itself, died. The rat's like, oh my gosh, free fish just laying there? Yes, please, seafood buffet. Goes over, starts chomping down the fish. The owl's like, look at that stupid rat. He's not even running. He's just sitting there eating that fish. Free lunch. Swoops down, and before you know it, Mr. Owl is hanging by his wing, stuck in a tree. How much owl stuff can this owl do in the situation he's in? Not much owl stuff. He's not very owly at the moment. He is stuck. He looks like an owl, but he can't do any owl things. He's just stuck there. I think he probably technically is still an owl, but the owl things the owl wants to do, the owl can't do. Because the owl is stuck, right? In our lives, and maybe you've experienced this already, and maybe you haven't yet, but very often in our lives, there will be things that look attractive. Just like the bait looked attractive to the fish, and the fish looked attractive to the rat, and the rat looked attractive to the owl. There will be things that look attractive, but in actuality, they become a trap. They tie you up, they get you stuck. And then there's nothing you can do about it because you're stuck. Could the owl unstick itself from the situation it was in? Clearly not. It was just hanging there. If it could get out, it would have. The fish couldn't get out. The rat couldn't get out. Now the owl can't get out. And in our lives, there will be times when you get tied up in the sins and the habits that Satan puts in front of you. Just, hey, just one time. It won't matter. You can stop anytime you want. You don't even need to do it. Just go. Just go be around the other people that are doing it. You'll have fun. You know what? It's private. No one else should even care if you do this or not, because they don't need to know. It's just yours. And we go, yeah, that's true. And before you know it, you've taken the bait and you're wrapped up and you're stuck. And now the things that you want to do, you can't do because you're stuck. Just like that owl. You can't get out. You can't figure a way out. But oftentimes, Satan will also then say, you can't tell anyone else about this. If you do, they'll judge you. If you do, you'll have all this guilt and shame, and they'll never look at you the same again. But the truth is, that owl, until someone came and took the owl and snipped the line and unwound it from around the owl and helped the owl's wing to heal, could never ever get unstuck himself. And the same is true for us. When we get wrapped up in sin, we often are in a place where we can't do it ourselves. So identify what trips you up and make a plan to get rid of it. That plan almost always will include other people. Your small group leaders, those great cloud of witnesses. If you have friends that are actually faithfully following Jesus, they can help you. I would be willing to help you. Your parents, often, if they are believers, if you come to them with something, they'll be willing to help you. But you got to make a plan, otherwise you just stay stuck. And what often happens after you've been stuck long enough is you just say, okay, well, I guess I'm not really a Christian after all. Because Christians don't do the things that I'm doing. So rather than swallowing your pride and making a plan to change the thing that's got you all wrapped up, you just say, this is who I am now. I'm not the owl that flies, I'm the owl that hangs from a tree by my wing. And instead of changing the sin, you change yourself. You change your faith. You say, I tried being a Christian, it didn't work, so I'm going to get rid of that. Which is exactly what Satan's plan was from the very beginning. Let's look at the next section of the passage. It says, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith. Wherever you're focused, that's where you're going to head. I'm this last snowboarding season, I got to take both of my boys and actually my 2-year-old daughter snowboarding. My boys way more often. I only took my daughter once, although she did amazing. But my boys, by the end of the season, they wanted to ride boxes and rails. They were like, I want to do it. I want to, and so I was like, okay. And the problem that almost everyone starts with is they look down at their own feet while they're on the box or the rail. And I kept telling them over and over again, you have to look at the landing. You have to look at the end, because if you know what your feet are supposed to do, they'll do it. You don't have to stare at your feet to tell them to stay on the rail or stay on the box. You have to look at the landing, because then you're going to head towards the landing. If you're staring at your feet, you're going to lose your balance. You're going to slide off the edge. And once they got their eyes from here to here, they could ride boxes. It was just a matter of where they were looking. I have a super bad habit of reading billboards, and it's fine when it's like a billboard and it's like a Target logo. I look over, I'm like, oh, Target, okay, whatever. But the billboards that are like one billboard after another, and it's like telling you a story in like billboards, and you're reading, you know, one day Grandma was riding along, you know, oh my gosh, what happened to Grandma? And pretty soon, and Melissa, my wife, is almost always sitting next to me, is like, Brandon, stop reading the billboards. I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't know why, but it's like wherever you're reading, wherever your focus is, that's where you're going to go. I really need to get like a self-driving Tesla or something so I can just read billboards all day long. Oh my goodness. You know exactly what happened to Grandma, and didn't kill my family in the process. But in your life, where you focus is where you'll go. If your focus is entirely on sports, entirely on academics, entirely on your friends, entirely on whatever, that will be what consumes your life. And that will be the orientation of your life. And Jesus, instead of being the focus and where you're headed, will just be some side peripheral thing. But if you're focused on Jesus, then that's where your life will be headed. And your faith will grow each day instead of fading. And you'll be more and more able to walk faithfully with Jesus. Last section. Jesus, who endured the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated on the right hand of the throne of God. I think this is so important for us to realize. Jesus didn't look forward to the cross. Jesus wasn't like, hooray, it's cross time. Like, the cross was awful. He was humiliated. He was beaten. He was just absolutely horrendously treated. He despised the cross, in fact, despising the shame. But it says the joy that was set before him. How was it joy? The cross, because of the joy set before him. What was the joy set before him? Being seated at the right hand of the throne of God. He was able to look beyond this life and say, I can endure what I need to for this time and place, for this life, because of what's ahead of me, because of the hope of eternity. That I don't want to give that up. I don't want to live that way because, you know, this seems so fun. I don't want to follow Jesus because it doesn't seem fun too. You know what? The temporary things of this life are nothing compared to the hope of eternity. And if I set my sights on the hope of eternity, then it doesn't matter what's happening in this life. It doesn't matter if I have to give some things up. It doesn't matter if it's hard. It doesn't matter if I get made fun of. It doesn't matter if some of my friends don't get it. Because my eternity with Jesus is going to be amazing. If we can put these two verses into practice in our lives will be different than they ever would be otherwise. We will walk faithfully with Jesus in amazing ways and actually experience the power that comes from faithful living with Jesus daily. That's my hope and my prayer for you guys. So let's pray. God, thank you for today, for the opportunity to be here together. Lord, thank you for who we can be when we walk faithfully with you, and help us to do that. We have signed up for the